Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Janet M. Taylor. I am an organizing expert with over 28 years' experience, and I help people organize their homes, their offices, their time, and their life, which is why I have Dr. Wendy Coulson here from My Body Passport, and she's going to share with us how our daughters as well can take care of their bodies by using the My Body Passport to really help them better manage their medical and health information. So, Dr. Wendy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, for those of you who might be watching this for the very first time, because this is part three of a four-part series, I'm going to read Dr. Wendy's bio. And it says, as an engineer, Dr. Wendy Coulson creates solutions to complex problems. Dr. Wendy invented a way to fill the gap in personal health knowledge and needed partners with specific expertise. She pitched her idea for My Body Passport to her sister Laura, a doctor of family medicine, and then to her brother Andrew, a data strategist, to form the Personal Health Record Dream Team. Together, they created the most accurate, comprehensive, and useful way to keep track of your health. Wendy's goal is to help people and their friends and families improve health habits, with the results being measurable benefits and health outcomes worldwide. And of course, I first met Dr. Wendy over 5 years ago. And of course, I have my own personal copy, which I use. So, Dr. Wendy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Janet.
So, when it comes to the next generation, and I love this product because it made me realize that I have a millennial and a Gen Z. Those are my gotcha. They're really just like, boy, I'm like, okay, I've got them from two different generations, and I actually gave them each their own personal copy because I wanted them to really start really managing their own health and medical information. So, what about that generation just made you decide, what, they need their own copy?
Right. So let me just show you. This is the millennial, and this is the Gen Z, and the other one that they all appreciate is the adventure. So, um, what we realized in making the general product was that for each generation, that age group has really different healthcare maintenance. So, to be extreme, a Gen Z, which is a teenager, does not need a checkbox for colonoscopy. It's not appropriate until you're 45 plus. So, they don't need that. They really don't need they don't need mammograms at that age. They don't, but they do need to start establishing good health habits. They do need to become aware so that as they get out of wherever the situation that they're being brought up in, which is going to impact how often they go to the dentist or to the doctor or anything. That's not their choice until they are out of the house, whatever, or out into the world, whatever their situation has been. And by creating a simple to use and non-electronic, just little booklet, we are hoping to establish health habits and actually change the trajectory of the next generation's health. And currently, there's 100 million adults in the United States with high blood pressure. And
Wow.
and there's multiple millions of them that don't know it and don't do anything about it.
Mm,
And they call that the silent killer. And so if there's a way that the 30 somethings, the 20 somethings, and the teenagers right now can just have a switch in mindset, a little tiny
mm-hmm.
switch, by the time they're our age, I'm hoping that there's only 25 million people in the US with high blood pressure, because guess what? In 2022, everyone decided that they're going to measure their blood pressure, and if it's high now, do something about it.
And
And
you're so
so,
right about that. You're
yeah,
right about that because that's what made me, knowing that my both parents had high blood pressure, hypertension, made me realize I needed to be proactive and
yes,
I needed to do something. And that's when I really started looking at my numbers. So you're right. When you know those patterns that happen in your family, then you can really be more proactive. So I love that.
Yeah, and I think the family history part is so relevant because knowing that you can just go through and check a box, I've gone through with my children and said, look, this is on my side of the family. So, just keep in the back of your head that, high blood pressure or low blood pressure or heart disease or whatever might run in the family, keep it in the back of your head. And then when you have options to choose your health, you know, take care of yourself. And
And you're right, and it's all about options because last year I had to keep going back and forth because I did the mammogram, but then they kept saying, Janet, we need another image, and it's like, okay, and then they said, Janet, we need you to see a specialist, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be proactive, I'm going to be positive, but during that time, that when I saw the specialist, she asked me a whole list of questions about relatives, like
yes,
who had what type of cancer. And it really was eye opening to me because I started listing all the relatives that had some type of cancer. None of them, of course, nobody had the breast cancer, but there was all different kinds. Lung because somebody smoked, this because, and then it made me realize, like, at this point, it's never too late, and I need to be a little bit more proactive in regards to what I need to eat and how I need to exercise. So you're right, that next generation, because even sometimes, the parents are so, they take responsibility of making sure they go to the dentist and the doctors and everything. And then, of course, the parents, get all the information. But it's time, for they get to that point in their life where they need to be proactive and like, these are your numbers. And they need to know what those numbers are, like you had mentioned in another video. And okay, what kind of changes can I make?
right. And just what are my numbers? And I think of, the young kids who are graduating high school right now and they're going to go off to college and those who are going to be away from home. And while they're at their freshman year, some health event is going to happen to someone they know. It's just inevitable with that many young people around. Somebody will have, will faint, let's say, for who knows why. But it's under those circumstances where if it's not you, you want to be a good first responder
Hmm.
to the people in your community. And so, how can you do that if you don't know? For all you know, that person typically faints and they have a fainting history, or maybe they've never fainted. And so, it's that kind of an awareness. And I feel like the generations, especially these the Gen Z and the millennial, they're very community oriented. I mean, you mentioned before how our parents' generation kind of kept things close to the vest, and we are working at our generation is working at connecting better on these important things. And I feel like these next generations are much more flexible and able to communicate. And then this is just a tool to have it, oh, I know where that information is. And then you just go look at it. And
Hmm.
so just giving them a tool to do what they already do, which is the ability to communicate and share, but have it be something that's so useful so that things in their future are is the outcome is better health.
And that is so true. And then they can also, have their copy. Parents can have a copy, and then they can just kind of just go through, and the parents can say, well, this is what's going on with me health wise. And then also making sure, that they have all the information, over the years when they've been going back and forth to doctor for the child. So, it's
Yeah.
like a really great tool for every generation. So I mean, because I got excited, like again, I was like, oh wait, he's a millennial, she's a Gen. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. So, and then of course their mom has their own copy as well. So
Well,
now I
and
just got
that's
to
what
get.
I was going to say is that, for my children, they carry around this, being millennials, and they also know that whether I'm at home or whether I'm traveling, that I've got mine. And so that gives them peace of mind because if anything happens to mom, the best outcomes are going to be
and,
available.
and
And
that
so
is so
that's not
true.
just for me, it's for them also. They have
Hmm.
a better peace of mind about, wherever I may be off doing whatever I'm doing. because I'm not going to just be hung out to dry as some Jane Doe when we don't know my history. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. And I don't require, this in order to be identified.
And
So,
that is key. That is so key. That is key. Well, Dr. Wendy, thank you once again. This has been a great conversation. And of course, everybody watching, of course, as I shared, this is four parts. This is part three, but there are four parts. We talk about our mothers and their bodies and their health, and we talk about ourselves and our health. And of course, this is about our daughters or sons and their health. And then, of course, we've got one more, which is actually the one where Dr. Wendy, she just pulls out the My Body Passport, and she just kind of shows you just a little peek inside it. So make sure you watch all four videos, and of course, if you're interested in any other products, please click the links below to order your copy, and please share this video with all your family and your friends and those in your life who could use the My Body Passport. So, Dr. Wendy, thank you once again for joining us. And I want everybody watching to continue to have a great day.